guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and we're here to talk about AEW Dynamite. And before anybody asks, yes, Luke is here as well. His camera's not working properly, but he's here audio only, so we will get Luke's thoughts on tonight's show as well. Luke, say hi so the people know you're actually here.
What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. And as far as AEW goes, I thought it was a decent show. It was mainly built around honoring Jay Briscoe tonight. So I thought tonight was a decent episode of AEW Dynamite.
Oh, yeah. I liked the show. There was a middle portion of the show that I thought was kind of just meh in there. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode of AEW Dynamite. Frickin' Bryan Danielson being the baddest, badass motherfucker of the world. Just that promo he cut, boy, we're going to talk about that. And that main event was awesome as well. But a lot of good stuff coming out of tonight's AEW Dynamite. And with that, I want to say thank you if you're watching live, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or twitch.tv/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Because remember, we're live on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time again. We're trying this out to see how it actually works and if we get more views and can maybe make more money doing the YouTube thing. Remember, if you do want to support us and make sure that your question, comment, or concern does get read live on the air, you can either hit that donate button down below on Twitch or donate a super chat over on YouTube. Remember, donating super chats on YouTube are the best way to make sure that we don't miss your question, and it does get read live on the air. Plus, all super chats do support the channel greatly. But if you're watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of ways over there as well. You can either donate Twitch bits, or you can subscribe to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, tier 1 through 3, or with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, on the flip side, if you subscribe over on, or if you're supporting us over on YouTube, you can do so by becoming a channel member. Hit that join button to become a channel member, and you get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access non-news videos, and all of our graphics packages going forward. This week, I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or Friday, but one of those 2 days, I will be putting out our AEW Dynamite 2023 graphics package. And then next week, I will be putting out our Royal Rumble 2023 graphics package as well. You get access to the graphic files that we create. And yeah, you can use them all. We ask you give us credit when you do. And you can get all that as well by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming one of the free games or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse, use our code PW Unlimited, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost to you. Just takes a few seconds to type in PWUNLIMITED, and then, well, like I said, you're supporting us and doesn't cost you anything extra. Heck, if you're claiming the free game, it doesn't cost you anything at all. But with that, we've got AEW Dynamite to talk about. And also, so we're going to go off on a thing really fast. Pepsi did away with Sierra Mist, and they came out with this stuff, Starry. This is their new lemon lime drink. It's not bad, but it ain't no Sierra Mist. I feel like it's Sierra Mist with more of the flavor punched in, and not in a good way. It's not bad. I'll drink it again. But I'm going to say right now, I miss Sierra Mist. Wasn't a big Sierra Mist drinker. But I will say, I feel like Sierra Mist, a little bit better than the Starry stuff. Again, this is Pepsi's new quote-unquote competitor to 7-Up, I guess you could say. Or Sprite. Their new lemon lime drink. Again, they did away with Sierra Mist. I miss Sierra Mist already. Didn't drink a lot of Sierra Mist, but yeah.
Yeah, Sierra Mist is supposed to be like an alternate version of Sprite.
Basically, it was Pepsi's Sprite competitor, and they felt like sales had been down in recent years, so they needed something different with a new flavor. And all this is, it's the same thing, I feel, but with extra of like the flavor juice, I guess you could say. And maybe just a little too much extra. It's strong. I will say that. It's got a strong flavor to it. Not in a bad way. It's not bad. It's not horrible or anything. But Kivich says the serum is gone forever. That's the going assumption. But with that, guys, we've got AEW Dynamite to talk about that kicked off with a TNT Championship match where we saw Darby Allin defend against Buddy Matthews. So
actually,
no.
I think it was the.
Never mind.
It was the Jericho match.
It was. I was scrolled way too far in my notes and actually had this written wrong. Give me 1 second to copy and paste this into a different section. Back there, copy, paste. There we go. Now I got it right. That's weird. I don't know why But that also shows for me to have written it wrong is one thing. But to then also forget that the Jericho Appreciation Society started the show, I did feel like the show did feel a little longer than it normally does. And that kind of right there proves it as far as me forgetting exactly what was the first thing on the show.
Yeah, tonight's show, I feel like it did feel a little long, in my opinion.
Like, not super long in a bad way, but it felt a little dragged out at times. But as far as this opening match does go, it was the tag team match. This was fun. And I felt like the Jericho Appreciation Society winning was the right move. I know some people are going to go, oh, no, Ricky Starks and Andretti should have won. No, the JAS have been taking a lot of losses, and I think they need this victory. I think it was very much needed. As far as the match itself does go, Andretti and Guevara started off and showed off their speed early on with a series of counters before Andretti tried a standing moonsault and Guevara moved, and we had a face-off. Guevara popped Andretti with a super kick, but Andretti responded with a head scissors to send Guevara to the floor. Guevara quickly returned to the ring and hit a backflip into a corkscrew drop kick. Guevara took his eyes off Andretti, who wiped out Garcia with a dive, while Guevara took out Andretti with one of his own right after. Guevara then tried to go to the top rope for a Hurricane Rana, but Andretti landed on his feet and then hit a standing Spanish fly for a 2. Jericho and Starks made their respective tags in and immediately had a chop battle as Starks did his top rope strut, only to be caught by a flying Guevara cutter in midair. Jericho and Guevara took turns picking Starks apart and did the Les Sex Gods pose for the crowd. Starks got the double boots up on a diving Guevara as Andretti made the hot tag with multiple backbreaker neck breakers and so forth. He also hit a tope at one point. Starks hit a swinging DDT on Guevara, while Andretti hit a springboard moonsault for a 2. Andretti and Guevara collided on a double crossbody for a double down spot, and Jericho and Starks got tagged in again. Starks caught a spear for a close 2 as Jericho tried a codebreaker, but Starks countered into a Liger bomb. Andretti tried a split-legged moonsault, but Jericho got his knees up. As Guevara made the tag, he couldn't get the GTH and ate an enziguri. Jericho ran a distraction and brawled with Starks on the outside as Andretti hit a poison Rana and a hanging neckbreaker for a 2. Starks was able to hit a Rochambeau on the floor to Jericho as Guevara tried a springboard cutter and missed as Garcia smacked Andretti with a baseball bat as referee Aubrey Edwards' attention was turned away. Guevara then hit the GTH and pinned Action Andretti. So there we go. The JAS, or Les Sex Gods, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, do pick up the victory. Excalibur, go for it.
Yeah, I do agree that having the JAS win, right move, they've been taking up way too many losses. And the big question for me is, like, how are they going to, like, end this, like, whole rivalry? Because I do think they'll probably end it at Revolution. But the question is, like who's going to be, like, kind of like facing who is the real question. My guess would be, and I don't know if this happens, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, what if it's Ricky and Action Andretti against everyone in the JAS?
Handicap match. Interesting.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
No, it wouldn't. But at the same time, like, if you think about it like that, and you think maybe, because here's the thing. They haven't built anybody else in this feud as far as us trying to think who could join Starks and Andretti. That's the thing. I mean, they still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks, so maybe somebody else gets involved to not make it as a handicap. But yeah, I don't know. Kid Vicious, Luke's mic or camera's not working properly, so he's on audio tonight. But as far as that goes, I mean, I feel like if it's going to be, if it's a handicap match, then it's got to be what? Some sort of no. I would say like a street fight type of deal. But that makes it even worse for Andretti and Starks. I don't know. That's a tough one because they kind of blew their load tonight with Andretti and Starks against Sammy and unless, and I doubt they do this, Garcia again gets mad at Jericho and doesn't want to be with him. He joins Starks and Garcia, and it's Jericho, Hager, and Sammy against Andretti, Starks, and Garcia. I doubt it, but I don't know.
I mean, I could see it, but at the same time, it's like you could have done this with like Bryan Danielson when he was involved in the feud with the JAS, but I don't know. I don't think it'll happen.
Right. I just don't see where the end game is at all. I don't.
I do think they'll end it at Revolution, though.
Good chance for sure. I mean, no. I would say do the rematch of Jericho and Action and Andretti, but what? Then Jericho just wins and they're 1-1? Like, I'm so torn. I don't know. But as we move forward, Excalibur then sent it to a Jay Briscoe tribute video showcasing the Briscoe brothers' rise in Ring of Honor. It had a lot of clips of Jay with his family, with his daughters, his wife, his son, and so forth. Great tribute. I love this. If you haven't seen it, go on social media. It's all over everywhere. This was great. This was really, really good.
Also, good on Warner Brothers for allowing AEW to do this. Because at first they were against the idea of letting AEW honor Jay Briscoe, but good for Warner Brothers for letting AEW do this.
I mean, they were, as of Monday or the day before, they were against even Mark still appearing on the show, which is weird.
Right?
All right, hold on. I need to ban somebody from the goddamn Twitch chat. When somebody comes into the Twitch chat and the first thing they say is, please don't ban me, I have something to say, you know it's going to be stupid. And it was stupid as fuck, and they're banned.
Don't be dumb, people.
So, moving forward, now we have the TNT title match. I just got those two matches on my... I don't know how I did that, but I got them mixed up. It's interesting. Buddy Matthews...
I guess maybe it was... I guess it was probably because maybe it was one of the first things that happened on AEW.
It could have been that I was going back and forth working on other things at the same time. And so after the Jericho stuff, I came back and it was just at the top of the page and I didn't realize. So that had to be what it was. But anyways, Buddy Matthews made his way to the ring with Julia before the break as they told us the TNT title match was next. Match was fun. I mean, it was just a match. I mean, Darby tried to do some cool things and whatnot, but it's like, I get it. Darby does the open challenge, but when he does these open challenges, it's like there's no build for these matches. So why really should we care? And it's not like when Cody was doing it and they were, bringing in people from outside the company. So it's like, oh man, this guy did really good against the champion. He might get signed. And we saw that with Ricky Starks. We saw that with Eddie Kingston. But with Darby's open challenge, yes, last week we did see Kushida, but most of his open challenge is guys still in the company and matches that really we've kind of already seen. Like, we haven't seen Darby versus Buddy Matthews one-on-one, but we've already seen Darby versus Buddy Matthews in 6-man and stuff. So it's like, it's whatever. It's whatever. So Darby had his... Go for it.
Yeah, like, I don't really care for these, like, open matches. I feel like I got really bored of them because it's always like title defense after title defense after title defense, no build whatsoever. Like they did this when Sammy Guevara was like first TNT champion. Like they just kept doing like title defense after title defense. They're even doing this with Orange Cassidy when he as the All Atlantic champion. Like
Yeah,
they're just doing these open challenges with like no build whatsoever.
and that's the thing about it. When AEW does these matches, especially title matches with no build, it's very obvious to know who's going to win. Like when there's no build, we know, oh, Darby's not going to lose. Oh, Orange Cassidy's not going to drop the belt until they actually build up a feud. And then you go, oh, okay, there's a chance. But when they just do the random open challenge, everyone knows Darby's not going to lose. So that's the other thing that makes it just kind of like meh to me.
I mean, my guess is it's probably Tony Khan's way of trying to like boost up ratings. Like, oh, like this person's like defending their title tonight, so maybe that's the reason why they keep doing these open challenges.
I know Tony likes having title matches on shows because it makes shows feel more important when there's a title match. So, I mean, that's one thing with this, but I don't know. It's kind of just, like I said, they're matches that end up just being there. As far as this match does go, Darby's leg was all taped up from his match in Japan this past weekend at the Great Muta Final Bye-Bye. Matthews had half his face painted as well as Hart ran distraction immediately, and Allen was flattened with multiple back suplexes on the edge of the apron. Allen then countered a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana to the railing, as Matthews was able to target the bad leg of Darby by sweeping the ring apron out from under him. There's a nasty Meteora from the top rope onto the edge of the ring, but Allen fought back with a over-the-top stunner and a coffin drop to the outside. The lights then went out, and when they came back on, Brody King and Malachi Black were standing on the ramp, staring down Sting. Then, all of a sudden, Ortiz would run out with a kendo stick as he and Sting brawled with Black and King up the ramp. So, I mean, there's still the Eddie Kingston, what's the word I'm looking for, component here, but maybe they can do House of Black versus Ortiz, Sting, and Darby. I doubt it, but I don't know. As we go for it.
So, two things. One, when do you think Santana will come back, and like how's his like relationship with Ortiz going? Because maybe what if they do like like Proud and Powerful and Eddie Kingston against House of Black?
Well, I don't think Ortiz wants to team with Eddie Kingston after Eddie attacked him with the chair last week on Rampage. But as far as Ortiz and Santana, I haven't heard anything on Santana on his relationship with Ortiz or his injury since he was injured to Blood and Guts. Like, they've kept everything with him quiet big time, which is weird. Very weird. So Buddy Matthews hits a high stack powerbomb for a near fall as Allen responded by fighting off an electric chair drop with a poison Rana. Allen hit a nice crucifix bomb as both men slowly rose to their feet with strikes until Matthews blocked a code red into a backslide, a pump knee, a buckle bomb, and a curb stomp for a 2. Matthews tried the pump handle driver, but Allen countered into a code red for a 2. Allen was cut off into the ropes as Matthews tried a superplex, but Allen countered into a scorpion death drop in midair, the same way he countered Juice Robinson in their match on Rampage. With Matthews hung in the ropes, Allen hit a coffin drop and pinned Buddy Matthews to retain the championship. So there we go. Still champion, Darby Allin, as everyone would have expected. Any thoughts?
I mean, I'm not really a big fan of like Darby only having like 3 minutes of offense and like picking up the win here. I mean, that's just my opinion. What do you think?
Well, that's Darby's thing is he'll get some offense, and then get beat down, and then makes that comeback elite. And they're like, oh, the small guy gets beat down by the opponent, but he's resilient, and he always comes back in the end. So that's the whole thing with Darby. Tony Schiavone came to the ring post-match to run down Allen's recent accomplishments, but before he could say a word, Samoa Joe would interrupt on the big screen. Joe said he's coming to take everything from Darby, and he's coming to take back what is rightfully his. Allen winning that title is the biggest mistake of his career, as the king has spoken. So I guess since they're 1-1, Joe and Darby, we're going to get a rematch here sometime soon. Whether that's next week. Well, it could be next week. They haven't announced it yet. But whether it's next week or in a couple weeks or at the pay-per-view, we'll have to wait and see. But Darby versus Joe 3 is coming sometime soon.
I mean, their first 2 matches were fun, so
Oh, yeah.
I think this match could potentially be better.
Yeah, I'm not against this at all. Like, I think this should be a really, really, really fun match. So then we got...
They also need to do something with the TV title with Joe. Like, they haven't done anything with that in a while.
Well, they haven't done anything with much Ring of Honor in a while, so yeah. Oh, wait. Since Saturday said they did announce it. For what? Oh, they did. I'm a dum-dum. I have the graphic right here. They did announce it. See, this show felt long. I'm forgetting stuff already off my cuff. So yes, they did announce it for next week. No holds barred.
Yeah, that should be a fun match right there.
And I'm a dum-dum for forgetting that. Thank you, Since Saturday, for correcting me. Moving forward, we got an Adam Cole video, basically showing him running the ropes and doing some things. And they basically kind of made us feel like his return match is not going to be till Revolution, because there's a long lingering shot of him staring up at the Revolution banner. So it sounds like his goal is to get back into having a match at Revolution. That could be the show where we see Adam Cole's return. Go for
it. So I just thought of this today, and I think this is a pretty cool idea. So Bobby Fish is no longer with AEW, and we don't know when Kyle O'Reilly's coming back. So like, what if they try to bring back like Adam Cole and the Elite's rivalry, and then the Elite's all like you don't have anybody left, you're all by yourself, and let's say the Kingdom comes out to reunite with Adam Cole, because Adam Cole used to be part of the Kingdom back in Ring of Honor.
OG Kingdom.
Maybe we see OG Kingdom versus the Elite for the trios belts at Revolution.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. And then Adam Cole, I get it, by the time Revolution comes around, or they wouldn't be teasing him getting back in the ring if he wasn't actually cleared. But it'd be a good warm-up match to where he doesn't have to work the whole match, and he could be, a tune-up, his tune-up return match. But my only problem with that, though, whether they win or they lose, which I don't think Adam Cole should lose his first match back in 9 months, 8 months. Then he's kind of stuck as part of the Kingdom in AEW, and they haven't done diddly squat with the Kingdom outside of one tag match and the TNT title match for Mike Bennett. So I don't hate the idea at all. I think it's actually a freaking great idea that I didn't even think about. But I just don't want it to happen and Adam Cole get slotted with the Kingdom, as the Kingdom already seen as guys that are just sitting around waiting for Tony Khan to do something with Ring of Honor. That's my whole problem with it.
Well, you can use Adam Cole as the main guy in the Kingdom. He doesn't have to be just a guy in the Kingdom, and you can also build up the Kingdom a little bit on Rampage.
True, but the question is, would they beat the Elite though? You think they would beat the Elite?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it's honestly unknown how long Tony Khan wants to keep those belts on the Elite.
Right.
I mean, maybe you could wait until Double or Nothing, or I honestly thought maybe you could do Adam Cole versus Kenny at Revolution, and maybe do the trios match at Double or Nothing.
Possible. I know,
but
Top Flight should be in line.
You'd give plenty of time to build the Kingdom.
True.
If you do it at Double or Nothing.
But then also, if you're going to align That would turn Adam Cole heel, for one. Right now, he's going to get monster babyface reactions because he's been gone for so long. Like, I like the idea, but I just see 2 or 3 slight little flaws that make me not at the same time, if you get what I'm saying. So moving, go for
get
it.
what you're saying, but I get what you're saying, but I feel like in this scenario, like Adam Cole like should be the babyface because if you don't know like the history between like him and the Elite like kicked him out of Bullet Club
Right.
back in the day, so he kind of has some like unfinished business with them. So I feel like in that scenario, he'd be the babyface, but you can still like keep him heel like after all that's over.
Yeah. Trying to think what else Adam Cole could do. I mean, unless you, well, no, that wouldn't work either. Well, Darby retains next week, keeps doing his open challenge, and then says at Revolution, I'm going to have my biggest open challenge yet. And that's when Adam Cole accepts TNT title shot and wins the TNT title from Darby. Just a fantasy booking scenario.
That wouldn't be terrible, but that wouldn't be terrible.
Because, I mean, in his short time in the ring for AEW, he's taken a lot of losses. So I think Adam Cole, he's seen as a major star, but I think he needs a major star win. I think he won that Owen Hart Cup, and they did nothing with it. Him and Britt both won. They walked out with those belts on Dynamite like once or twice and then never even mentioned again. So I don't even see that as counting because I've seen, if I say he didn't get no big time wins, and someone might say, well, what about the Owen Hart Cup? Yeah, no. It would have meant something if they kept mentioning it. It would have meant something if they actually did something with it as far as the winners getting something from it other than the belts and the trophy. But I feel like that Owen Hart Cup was meaningless because it was dead a week or two after. At least in WWE, when someone wins King of the Ring, they keep the crown and the scepter and the robe for a little while. I mean, look how long King Corbin stayed around. Look how long King Sheamus stayed around. Look how long King Woods stayed around. So, yeah, that was one thing that kind of was weird last year with AEW is how they made a big deal of this Owen Hart tournament, and then as soon as it was over, it was done.
I think it was probably just their way of seeming like, oh, like Adam Cole, like he has the title. He has a title on his like shoulder when in reality the title meant nothing, especially since they did nothing with it after a week.
It meant less than the FTW title, and that's saying something. But as we move forward, Jungle Boy teamed up with Hook, the FTW champion, to take on Ethan Page and Matt Hardy. Now, a lot of this match, at least for me, was in like a commercial. I used the TNT app or the TBS app, so I saw a lot of this. Well, didn't see a lot of this because I didn't get the picture-in-picture on the app for this match. I could tell it was going to picture-in-picture, but I didn't get it. And so there is some stuff that I may have missed. So, Stokely Hathaway and Page talked down to Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy during their entrance like they've been doing for weeks. And as the match started, Perry fired off with a quick Hurricane Rana on Page, who ditched Hardy during a 4-man face-off. Page pie-faced Hook and bailed on his tag team partner once again to get beat up 2-on-1, basically. Well, kinda. Perry then hit a dive onto the outside onto Page, but was tripped up, and this allowed Hardy to take control. Perry was isolated during the break, and Hook made the hot tag with the El Camino and an overhead throw onto Page. Hook was then pulled to the floor by Hardy as Page stumbled into a blind tag. Hardy flattened Perry with a side effect, but as he was about to hit a twist of fate, Page demanded the tag. Perry countered Page's twist of fate into a snare trap as Hardy kind of lightly reached for the tag. Hook pulled him off the apron, and Ethan Page would tap out as Matt Hardy fell to the floor. So there we go. Not much really to this match. I was kind of bored during most of it. But Jungle Boy and Hook do pick up the victory. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't really care for a whole lot in this match. I mean, to me, it felt like a whole lot of nothing. I really don't get the whole idea of like Hook and Jungle Boy kind of as a tag team because they're kind of like keeping them to like almost like a full-time tag team.
Yep, Jungle Hook.
I don't really like that. I mean, Like, what's this building to? Are they gonna wait till like Christian is cleared to wrestle and they're gonna do like Christian and Luchasaurus against Jungle Hook?
Maybe. I mean, they need something for Jungle Boy to do in the meantime. I mean, Christian's going to be out for at least another 4 months, maybe 3-4 months. So it's still got a while. It's still got a while.
So, I mean, my guess is they're probably gonna do this for like 4 more months and wait till Christian's back.
Maybe. I think they're just finding random stuff for Jungle Boy to do, to be honest. Time for some family therapy with the Acclaimed, Daddy Ass, and the Ass Boys, the Guns. There's a therapist with them as well. Austin and Colton said that they always came second to their father. His career was always number one to him. Caster and Bowens called them jealous of their relationship with their father, saying that they couldn't do what they do. Austin said that they pushed Bowens in his wheelchair when he was injured and was hit with the crutch when he was all healed up. Colton said that their faults as sons were because of their father. Billy also once again asked how and why they became entitled brats, and then the AEW tag team. They also said, the Guns did say that the AEW tag team titles would come home with them, and then they stormed out. This was short, and basically, it's just telling us we're getting the Guns challenging for the tag titles eventually. Here's my question. Does Billy screw the Acclaimed and go back with his sons? And this is all a ruse all along.
I honestly, I don't know. I feel like it would kind of like piss off a lot of fans because I feel like Billy Gunn with the Acclaim is kind of like the best thing, one of the best things that's going for him. Because like what's the number one T-shirt that's selling for AEW?
I can tell you firsthand experience. So I was at Dynamite last week, and I got there soon as the doors opened. Walked in, grabbed a soda, grabbed a hot dog, sat in my chair for 45 minutes before the show started. I had a friend that showed up, I want to say 30 minutes before Dynamite started, or the dark tapings. So it'd been 3:30 Pacific time. She got there with her and her cousin went to the show together. I don't know if they got food or not before, but by the time they got to their seats, she had texted me and was like, hey, I wanted a foam finger and they're already sold out of the Scissor Me foam fingers. And she was in her seat well before even the dark taping started. So that's how quick Acclaim stuff is selling out at shows. That they were there 30 minutes at least, if not more, before the show started and couldn't even get a foam finger. So I get exactly I get what you're saying about that would hurt them merchandise wise, because they're like some of the top sellers of merchandise. The Scissor Me Daddy and the Daddy Ass and the foam fingers I mean, they can still do the foam fingers without Billy Gunn, but that shirt, that Scissor Me Daddy shirt would go away.
And I feel like I kind of feel like the foam fingers though, like it kind of like hurt them a little bit. If that makes sense, because
how so?
Like kind of like were they just gonna do like Scissor Me like Max Caster? I don't know. It wouldn't really. Well, no, wouldn't really do it though.
They've been doing the scissor stuff since the Acclaimed became a team. They just didn't have the catchphrase of Scissor Me Daddy Ass or Scissor Me Daddy. But they've been doing the scissor thing since the beginning of the Acclaimed. It just became big once they added Billy Gunn.
So yeah, but when it first happened, though, people didn't really take it seriously. They're like, oh, they're just guys just being goofy and stuff.
Exactly. So like the foam fingers can stay around. The shirt would have to go if Billy, because that would essentially turn Billy heel, realigning with his son, screwing the Acclaimed. So yeah. I mean, it's got to lead to something like that. I don't think it just leads to, oh, Billy helps the Acclaimed beat his boys. I don't know. Because the way he's still like showing us that he still cares for his boys. So like there's those breadcrumbs of, okay, this may all be a ruse. And that he's not really with the Acclaimed. He just wants them to think he's with them. Because there was that one point at the beginning of all this when he was like against his kids, kinda. But you know, more and more shows me that nope. he still does care for them as far as wants everything to work out, if that makes sense. So Renee Paquette is backstage with Hangman, and she asks about his vague response last week in What's Next. Paige says as much as he wants to look forward, he can't help but look back to Ohio. He and Moxley are 1-1 in their series. And when they are in Dayton, Ohio next week, he wants to knock out Jon Moxley. Wheeler Yuta then comes into the shot and says Moxley accepts, challenging Paige to a match next week. And then he challenges Paige to a match next week on Rampage. Paige asks what makes Yuta think what happened to Moxley won't happen to him. So we got 2 Adam Page matches announced in one segment. On Friday's Rampage, it will be Hangman Page against Wheeler Yuta. And then next week on Dynamite, it's going to be Hangman Page against Jon Moxley. So the whole Moxley fake concussion, they're already done with that.
I felt like they should have waited till maybe like a week or two before Revolution for Moxley to come back and say like, "Hey, we're 1-1. Let's finish this at Revolution."
I do think it would have made more sense for the pay-per-view, but maybe this one goes to a time limit draw, and then they have to add like no time limit, lights out kind of deal for the pay-per-view. I could see that. This one going to a draw and then them adding some stipulation for the pay-per-view.
I can see it, but I don't know. They're already doing the 60-minute Iron Man match for MJF and Bryan Danielson.
True.
So if, I don't know. I feel like if they do this match, I feel like they would have to like make it really long to where they would have to like cut some time out for like other things.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. But then if they do that and they have 2 long matches, then maybe we won't have 13 freaking matches on the show. Going
True.
forward. Right.
I feel like they add a lot of like pre-show matches though.
Yeah, there's like always 3, so 10 main card matches. We don't need that many, but anyways. Bryan Danielson, took on 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions and Brian Cage. Excalibur told us if Cage wins, due to his win-loss record, he'll be the new #1 contender for the AEW World title. And I go, what? How? Okay, cool, sure, whatever. Because, like, I guess all his stuff on Dark and Dark Elevation and few matches on... I don't know. Anyways, I didn't even know that the damn ranking system was a thing because no one's got to be ranked to get a TNT title shot. That's an open challenge. No one's got to be ranked to get a world title shot. I mean, Bryan Danielson's not #1 ranked. So, like, the rankings almost mean nothing now. So why even bring it up? But anyways, Danielson.
I haven't even done the rankings in a while, so
I'm gonna check something. They used to post them every week on their Twitter, every like Wednesday morning before Dynamite. I don't even notice them anymore. Like they don't even post them. They don't even post the rankings on social media anymore. Which right there tells you that they don't even care. Let's see. Let's go back to this morning really fast. Yeah, I'm not seeing them anywhere. I can go back a little bit farther. And yeah, we're into yesterday, and I still don't see. Yep, nope. They're not posting. They're not even posting the rankings anymore. So that right there tells you that the rankings don't matter.
I mean, before they kind of like stopped with the rankings, they almost meant nothing because like we kept seeing a bunch of people like getting world title shots, even though they weren't even like ranked. Like, remember when Lance Archer faced Hangman for the world title, and he wasn't even ranked.
Yeah, no.
Like, he didn't even wrestle for like 5 months.
No, the rankings have always been
or even longer.
The rankings have always been dumb, and they were a good idea kind of at launch, but they didn't stick to them hard enough is the problem. So Excalibur bringing him up here, kind of a moot point because they don't even care about him anymore. I don't know who fed him that line. Someone, I mean, maybe he came up with it by himself, but even at that, then that means he had to have seen some sort of a ranking somewhere that showed who's top 5, who's top 3, who's top 2, who's top 1. So someone had to feed him that line. And is that also a hint that eventually they want to give Brian Cage a title shot? Brian Cage has only got weeks left on his contract, and there's no sign of him signing back with the company or not. So I don't even know what route they're going with Brian Cage, if they want to keep him or if they want to let him go. As far as his matches go.
Honestly, if I was Brian Cage, I would leave. If I was him, I would get the heck out of there.
Oh, last year when they picked up his option for an extra year, it was said that he was totally shocked that they actually kept him. So,
I mean, I know some people are predicting maybe he signs with WWE.
They have slight interest, but I don't know if it's mutual on either side. He's been with WWE once before, and it didn't last long. So I don't know if he wants to try that.
I mean, that was a long time ago in developmental, so
yeah.
And like things change, so
yeah, because he was there for, I want to say, a little over a year. It was like summer of 2008 to fall of 2009, I believe. And
I mean,
I think
and
like,
we also
before it.
And we also like seeing guys who used to be in developmental for WWE turned out to be like big stars on the indies and then eventually came back to WWE, like
right.
EC3, LA Knight. So just to name a few.
Right. So we'll see what comes up with Brian Cage. Again, like I said, his contract is up soon. And so whether he stays with AEW or not is to be seen. He's still 1/3 of the ROH tag team six-man tag team champions. That's another thing you got to look at as far as him in that company, because anything AEW or anything Ring of Honor is technically AEW still right now. But in the match, Danielson had the early advantage. He got an early crucifix and then transitioned that into some anvil elbows as the label lock was applied. Cage did get to the ropes to break the hold. Danielson hit a drop kick through the ropes, a tope, and a top rope crossbody to the floor. Back inside the ring, Cage caught Danielson with a gorilla press and tossed him into the corner, with Danielson landing very awkwardly. Cage then followed this up with a released German suplex and was driven down on the edge of the apron. During a commercial break, Cage really zoned in on the arm of Danielson because remember, MJF asked him to break the arm. Danielson escaped a bear hug and tried his corner moonsault, but Cage caught him into a shoulder breaker. This is a really good looking spot. Cage did his suplex from the apron into the ring and followed this up with a German suplex from the outside in for a 2. But Danielson hung in the corner. Cage tried an avalanche powerbomb, but Danielson fought free with a charging dropkick and a superplex. There were some yes kicks that connected as Danielson tried for the triangle choke, but Cage easily powered out of it. Danielson countered into an ankle lock and a leg trap German suplex. Cage and Danielson then traded home run shots until Cage hit a buckle bomb, a power bomb, tried for a third, and Danielson rolled him up for a flash pin victory. Before we get into the post-match stuff, what do you think of the actual match itself?
I mean, I thought it was all right. I thought this could have been a match where like Brian Cage could like stand out a little bit, even though like we knew Bryan Danielson was going to get the win. But I thought this could have been a match where Brian Cage could like really like stand out.
True. Well, and he kind of did post-match. So post-match, Cage attacks Danielson and hits the Weapon X as MJF walks down to the ring. And boy, did MJF look wrecked, like he hasn't been getting sleep. Anyways, he shoved a ring attendant down and took a chair. Cage put Danielson's arm through the chair and posted it. His commentary talked about the bounty that Cage was trying to collect. MJF then beat down Danielson and was about to Pillmanize his arm when Konosuke Takeshita would run out to make the save. MJF bailed, grabbed his belt, and walked away. Cage was then laid out with a running knee. Takeshita and the doctors checked on Danielson. So, I mean, Cage kind of looked good there at the beginning of this post-match stuff, and then afterwards got laid out by Takeshita. We go to the back after a break, and the doctors are checking on Danielson. And they said that they think his shoulder is dislocated. And Danielson cuts just the best promo, is the baddest badass motherfucker in the world, and says, I don't care. I don't care how injured I am. I'm going to wrestle for an hour, and I'm going to expose MJF for the fraud he is. No doctor is going to stop me. No doctor is going to tell me what I can and can't do. He said something like, I wrestled for an hour with no shoulder before. It doesn't matter. You're not telling me what to do and what I can't do, and I'm going to wrestle that match. And he looks at the doc and goes, don't, look, he says something like, don't check on me again, or don't tell me what to do again, or something like that. I didn't catch it fully, but he looks at the doctor and like just yells at him. And yeah, no, this was fantastic. I'm 1,000,000% not doing it justice. If you didn't see this promo, what are you waiting for? Get off of this YouTube video, get off of this Twitch review, and go watch it right now on Twitter. Because this fucking promo was fan-frickin-tastic. This was grade A, just the best Bryan Danielson stuff imaginable. When they say this guy's one of the best on the mic, right here is why. This was amazing. Thoughts?
Oh yeah, this is a great promo. Probably one of the best promos we've seen in a while. Like from like anything. So really good promo.
Yeah. And he also said, behind your mask is not a monster. I'm going to show the whole world that what's behind the mask is a fraud. And I've retweeted the video of this promo in case you guys didn't miss it on the PW Unlimited Twitter account. This was an amazing promo. So if you guys did miss it, go to our Twitter and it's right up at the top. Then another match that I couldn't care less about. It meant nothing. Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. Like, this felt a little hard-hitting, but it was crappy as far as the storyline does go, because it's supposed to be the originals against the outsiders. Ruby's a freaking outsider by the way Toni Storm and Saraya have described it. They say it's homegrown versus women that have made a name for them outside of AEW. And so if that's the case, well, Ruby Soho spent how long in WWE? She's not homegrown. So why is she fighting on the side of the homegrown? It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And this match was just, couldn't care less. The Storm.
Oh yeah, I did not care. I did not care for this match at all. And I did not like the idea of Toni and Saraya being heels. Because well, for one, like the whole like storyline like before that was like, to me it kind of felt like that they were gonna build up Saraya to be like next in line and challenge Jamie Hayter for the title.
Yep.
And then you just like randomly turn her heel. Like, what? I mean, I guess you can still do that match, but I don't know. I did not like the idea of turning Toni and Saraya heel just randomly.
So during her entrance, Toni Storm cut an inset promo, basically complained about Ruby Soho helping the homegrown idiots. And that's not who she is. She is a misfit. Soho's inset promo was her trying to say that we've all worked our asses off to get to where we are here in AEW. It doesn't matter if you're homegrown or you made your name somewhere else. Everybody has to start somewhere. And these girls started here. And now they're on the same level as you, basically. So I liked Ruby's promo as far as her trying to justify the quote-unquote homegrown originals. But it just doesn't make sense because she's not a homegrown original. Anyways, Tony Schiavone said the lines have been drawn between the AEW originals and the ladies who didn't get their start here. Okay. But Ruby is not an original, if you want to think of it in that sense. Unless they are literally trying to say Ruby didn't do diddly squat before coming to AEW. Well, she hasn't really done diddly squat in AEW either. So after bailing early on, Storm caught Soho with a super kick, but Soho battled back with some forearms and some strikes. Soho was sent to the floor with the sweet chin music, and Storm kept pouring on the attack. Storm controlled during an entire break segment until Soho got her face busted in the corner with Saito suplex. Soho missed a destination unknown, and Storm went for a roll-up and got a 2 with the tights. Excuse me, I can't stop burping all of a sudden. Soho answered back with a no future for a close 2 of her own, and then went to the top. She rolled through a senton attempt, and Storm acted like her nose was hurt after she got kicked in the face, and the ref tried to stop the match, and Soho fell for it with Storm pulling her into the ropes to bait and switch. She hit a nasty sweet chin music and a corner DDT for a 2. Then the music of Britt Baker would hit. Remember, Britt Baker was supposed to be in this match, but Britt Baker is currently injured, not cleared to compete, so she came out on the stage to cause a distraction, which did distract Toni Storm just long enough for Soho to hit the destination unknown and pick up the victory. So there we go. Britt Baker assists Ruby Soho in winning the match, and then afterwards, I can't remember who said it on commentary, but one of them's like, "Oh, looks like the doctor came out to scout the competition," but didn't make that I heard. Maybe I just didn't hear it. I didn't hear them make any reference to Britt being pulled from the match and being hurt, unless I just missed it. But I think
I didn't hear it either.
Okay.
But another thing that I thought was confusing, like, so are they like now gonna turn Britt babyface now? Are they just gonna like reverse like the heels to like baby faces and the baby faces to heels?
They kind of have to. And Britt's been slowly turning babyface because she's with Jamie Hayter, who's basically a babyface to the fans. And Britt's been very like rah cheerleader Jamie Hayter. So she's kind of been slowly turning anyways because of Jamie. So, but in the end, I'm wholeheartily under the impression that this is going to lead to some sort of a blood and guts match for the women. We've gotten 2 male ones, so now we need a woman's blood and guts in AEW. Because I mean, there's been the criticism of, well, WWE will let the women do a Hell in a Cell or War Games. Why won't AEW?
I mean, they did something with like Thunder and Britt. I can't remember what match it was.
Well, that was last year at St. Patrick's Day Slam. It was just a bloody cage match. But I mean,
and
go for it.
I mean, I could also see maybe do like a short-term babyface run with Britt and eventually her turning heel on Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think is happening, so
we get MJF in a dimly lit room. Excuse me. He runs down Takeshita, saying that he's talented, but to stay out of his way. Despite being injured, Danielson will keep marching to Revolution like a hero. That's what the fans think, but not MJF. As his Triple B is what makes him get out of bed in the morning. The belt makes him better than you, and you know it. MJF asks if Danielson has a hole in his soul and is just trying to fill it with the belt. He said physical pain is fleeting. Mental pain will leave a scar. Next week on Dynamite, Danielson will face a man who enjoys to inflict pain, Timothy Thatcher. They then showed clips of Timothy Thatcher from Pro Wrestling Noah using the Fujiwara armbar. Woo, buddy! This match is going to be fan-frickin-tastic. Have we ever gotten, I've never seen it, Bryan Danielson versus Timothy Thatcher in the past? I've never seen it. But I'm going to look this up really fast.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it either.
I mean, I know I haven't, but okay, here's one. Nope, that's a promo for next week. Let's see. I'm not finding anything. Nope. No. Yeah. Might be a first time ever match. Because I thought maybe back in the day. No. I'm not finding anything. And I'm only looking here really quick. But, ooh, buddy, this match is going to be so good. This match is going to be so freaking amazing. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, I did not expect like Timothy Thatcher to be like Danielson's next opponent. Like for a while now, I kept thinking like Davey Richards because I was like under the impression of like MJF bringing in like people that Danielson has faced in his past, and I thought Davey Richards would have been a cool option because like he was part of Danielson's like farewell tour
Right.
in Ring of Honor, I believe. So I kind of thought, and Davey Richards, he's still actively wrestling. So I kind of thought that would have been a cool option right there.
Thatcher and Richards, I think, equal caliber opponents as far as like both being great technical wrestlers and hard hitting and stuff. So, but Timothy Thatcher, I just put if Davey Richards is here, Timothy Thatcher for me is like right up here. So, this match is gonna be great. I can't wait. So Taz and Tony,
this match will be amazing.
Yeah, Taz and Tony Schiavone leave commentary for Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccoboni to actually join commentary for the upcoming main event. It's Mark Briscoe against Jay Lethal. And if you guys don't know, this match is big. Well, because it's the first time Mark Briscoe's ever competed on AEW. It's a tribute match to Jay. But Jay Briscoe and Jay Lethal have an amazing history, like storied history in Ring of Honor. Going back just to some of the best Ring of Honor main events we've ever seen.
Yeah, this was a very like emotional main event,
big time
as well, because like you can tell that like Jay Lethal like was trying to like hold in some tears like before and
sure.
like during the match. So
in where was I? Sanjay Dutt, an emotional Sanjay Dutt at that, gave Jay Lethal a hug during his entrance prior to a commercial break. So Jay Lethal comes out. They're wearing the Jay Briscoe tribute shirts, which all proceeds do go to his family. You can get it at Pro Wrestling Tees. And we go to break. We come back, and as we come back, Mark Briscoe's coming out. And Ian Riccoboni did a great job talking about Mark's journey through Ring of Honor with his brother during his entrance, as Bobby Cruz gives us the introductions. And Mark came out with both Ring of Honor tag titles, both him and Jay's belts. As far as the match goes, this is great. This was amazing. Both men adhered to the code of honor before, as Lethal is visibly trying to hold it together, trying not to cry. Lethal tried to use his speed early on, firing off a quick arm drag into a stalemate. Each man took turns chopping away at the other to the delight of the other, as Briscoe hit a snap mare into a snap drop kick. Lethal tried to fight back, but was planted with the Briscoe neck breaker for a 2. Both fought to the ring apron and had a forearm and chop battle until Lethal took out the leg and hit a tope. Going forward, Lethal kept Briscoe grounded until Briscoe used his redneck kung fu with a top rope chop. There's an enziguri that sent Lethal to the corner where Briscoe hit a splash and an Icono slam. Briscoe then tried for a J driller, but Lethal fought out into a lethal combination. Briscoe got a roll-up off of a figure 4 attempt at one point as Lethal responded with a front-face suplex into a lethal injection, but Briscoe wisely rolled to the floor. Lethal followed this up and set up Briscoe on the timekeeper's table as if Lethal was going to come off the top rope and crash down onto Briscoe, but Briscoe would cut him off and drop kicked him through the ropes. Briscoe would hit a blockbuster off the apron and set Lethal up on the table, would then climb to the top rope and hit the froggy bow off the top to Lethal on the timekeeper's table to an just great holy shit and this is awesome chant. Like, this was freaking fantastic. And I loved how early on in this match, I'm not sure if it was Excalibur or Ian Riccoboni, when these two are just beating the crap out of each other, they go, and this is what Jay would have wanted. 2 men just coming out here and fighting. So Lethal at one point kicked out at 2 inside the ring as Lethal bridged out of a J Driller attempt for a 2, but Briscoe responded with a lariat and turned Lethal inside out multiple times. Briscoe successfully hit the J Driller and got the victory in this main event, a very incredibly emotional match. Mark then looked into the camera and told his family to keep their heads up. He told his brother that he loved him. He said, hold on, I have the right quote written on a separate thing really fast. He said, oh, now I'm not going to be able to find it. I had it written down. Man, why can't I find it all of a sudden? Hold on, give me 1 second. So Mark said, so Mark basically leaned into the camera and said, "Jammin', boy, I love you. I love you, man." So afterwards, the AEW roster came out on the stage. They threw the Jay Briscoe graphics up on the screen with a picture of Jay. And immediately we saw Sanjay go over and grab Jay Lethal and hugged him hard. Mark then posed with both belts on the what's the word I'm looking for? Ramp in front of the roster. And everyone started grabbing him. Christopher Daniels, Roosh, BJ Whitmer, and gave him big, big hugs as the show went off the air. What'd you think?
I thought this was a good way to like tribute Jay Briscoe, have a lot of former like Ring of Honor people come out, and like a lot of people who are like been involved in storylines with Jay Briscoe.
Mhm.
So I thought this was a very cool and like emotional like ending to tonight's Dynamite.
Oh, yeah. So as far as Rampage and Dynamite next week do go, we got a couple of things announced for both. First off, on Rampage, Adam Hangman Page will take on the ROH Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta in a non-title match. Powerhouse Hobbs will be in action. Also, Jamie Hayter will take on Emi Sakura in an AEW Women's Title Eliminator match. As far as next week's AEW Dynamite does go, Bryan Danielson will be taking on Timothy Thatcher. Adam Hangman Page will take on Jon Moxley. The Acclaimed will be in action, and Darby Allin will defend the TNT Championship against Samoa Joe in a no-holds-barred match. So with that, that is everything.
Also,
go for it.
another thing I forgot to mention, like Adam Cole was also like on the ramp as well. Who remembers back in Ring of Honor where Adam Cole super kicked Jay Briscoe's dad?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
So whenever it gets uploaded, I don't know why it's taken this long, but whenever it gets uploaded, Adam Cole has a phenomenal speech that he gives on the Ring of Honor Jay Briscoe tribute show. Like, he had everybody in that fucking building crying when he was speaking about Jay and how there would be no Adam Cole if there wasn't a Jay Briscoe. That early on in his career, he had self-doubt, and Jay Briscoe was like, "Nah, man, you just got to go for it, and you got to do it, and this and that, and you're great, and I know it, and you know it, and just keep on fighting." And that's when I recommend everybody watching. That promo or speech, I guess you could say, that Adam Cole gives about Jay Briscoe was great, was fantastic. But with that, guys, that's all we got. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat on YouTube. But with that, before we get going, forgot the Twitch poll, god dang it. But we do have YouTube and Twitter polls. As far as those do go, let's hit refresh on both of them really fast. So as far as the Twitter poll does go, 84% liked the show. 15% thought it was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 79% liked the show. 13% thought it was just all right. And 8% did not like Dynamite. So with that, guys, that's going to wrap everything up. Any final closing thoughts, Luke?
Nope.
All right, guys. So with that, that's going to wrap everything up. Remember, this weekend is the Royal Rumble. So we will be live Saturday night, recapping, reviewing everything that went down at the Royal Rumble. But I'll be back Friday morning for the wrestling wrap-up, and then Friday evening for Friday Night SmackDown, the final WWE show before we move into the Royal Rumble this Saturday. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. All right, really quick, if you're still watching on Twitch.